What would you do if the last 3 years of your life were a lie? I stared at the glowing laptop screen in our silent Chicago apartment, the 2 a.m. darkness pressing in. My wife Jessica was asleep down the hall, breathing softly, completely unaware that she'd forgotten to log out of her email. It was an accident, a simple, stupid mistake. But what I found was a digital Pandora's box. A thread of messages between her and a man named Mark. The subject line of the oldest one read, "Our little secret." It was dated almost exactly 3 years ago. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the suffocating quiet. I wasn't just reading words. I was watching my marriage crumble in real time, pixel by pixel. The life I knew was a phantom, and the woman I loved was a stranger. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation was a physical thing, a hot flush crawling up my neck. Every memory felt tainted. Our 3rd anniversary dinner at Gibson's Bar and Steakhouse on Rush Street, She Div. Been texting him under the table. The trip to Miami we took for my birthday, he'd been there, staying in a hotel just a few blocks away. Her strange behavior, the sudden late nights at the office, and the guarded way she angled her phone away from me, all clicked into place. It was a slow, agonizing discovery. Credit card receipt for a room at the Thompson Hotel in the Gold Coast, a place we'd never been together. Her phone buzzing with texts from a contact saved as Julia M., a name I'd never heard her mention. When I'd asked, she just smiled that cold, dismissive smile. "Just a new girl from marketing, Ethan. Don't be so paranoid." She was a master of manipulation, turning my valid suspicions into accusations of insecurity. She and Mark felt untouchable, wrapped in their bubble of deceit. I remember one night, standing in the kitchen, holding a printed copy of a hotel bill I'd found. My hands were shaking. I confronted her, my voice barely a whisper. She laughed. Short, sharp, ugly sound. "Are you seriously snooping through my things? You need to get a grip." That was the moment I broke. The love I had for her curdled into something else, something cold and hard. The breakdown was silent. I didn't shout, I didn't throw things. I went into the guest bathroom, locked the door, and slid to the floor, the cold tile a shock to my system. I sat there for hours, a hollowed-out man. And in that cold, sterile room, a new resolve began to form. I would not be the victim. I would be the architect of her downfall. For the next 6 months, I became a ghost in my own home. I gathered proof with chilling precision. I hired a private investigator who documented their meetings in parking garages and dimly lit bars. I made copies of every email, every text, every damning receipt. I opened a new bank account and quietly funneled my savings into it. I consulted a lawyer, the best divorce attorney in Chicago, and we set the traps. Jessica's father was a proud, old-fashioned man who sat on the board of a major charity. Her social standing was everything to her. The annual charity gala, an event she chaired, was a month away. It was the perfect stage. The night of the gala, she was radiant in a glittering gown, oblivious. She moved through the crowd at the Drake Hotel, accepting compliments, the queen of her little kingdom. I watched her from across the ballroom, a ghost at the feast. At 9 p.m., as she took the stage to give her keynote speech, it began. A single email sent from an anonymous account to every board member, every major donor, and every society columnist in the city. Subject, the real Jessica. It contained everything. The emails, the photos from the pie, the hotel receipts. I saw the first phone light up, then another. Confused murmur rippled through the room. Jessica, faltering at the podium, saw it too. Her face went from confused to pale to ashen in the span of 10 seconds. Her father, sitting at the head table, stared at his phone, his expression turning to stone. The smug look on Mark's face, standing by the bar, dissolved into pure panic as his own wife turned on him, her face a mask of fury. Jessica stumbled off the stage, her perfect world shattered. The fallout was brutal and swift. She was removed from the board. Her father disowned her. Mark's wife filed for divorce, taking him for everything. I had already filed that morning. Our apartment, which was in my name, was sold. Her credit cards tied to my accounts were canceled. She was left with nothing but the designer clothes on her back and a reputation in ruins. I never saw her again after that night. Sometimes I walk past the Drake Hotel and I can almost hear the echo of the silence that fell over that ballroom. The quiet was louder than any scream. The end.